Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too. This week I'm going to honor the teachings of Robert Moore, one of my male mentors. And a lot of his work has to do with understanding human grandiosity, the healthy aspect of it and the narcissistic aspect of it. There's been a tremendous depreciation of healthy grandiosity. We somehow seem to value people whose arrogance, insolence, pompousness, pretentiousness, the way they strut their stuff. In a certain way, we think that that's really cool, but it's really destructive because we don't understand that this is hardwired in us. Everybody needs to be seen, but in a healthy way. And the key is that ancient cultures understood the danger of this kind of hubris and had ritual enactments to channel the grandiosity. So people could be admired for the beauty they have, but in a healthy way, which would mean they'd have to learn to cooperate and collaborate with the society and put it out in a public way that shows that they care about other people besides themselves. If you don't connect to this, you're not going to live your life in a full way, because this part of you really needs to organize a lot of your own personality attributes in order that you can shine. And of course, some of this has to do with taking time to work on your craft, to develop your skills. That's what I call the garden experience, where you have times where you go away from the social net, and in privacy you practice your lick. And I'll pick a note and then I'll perfect it and then I'll bring it out for everybody to see. So one of the problems is that when you show your grandiosity, a lot of people fear that. They shame you out of envy. And then you get shot down and you think you're not worth anything because no one is acknowledging the gleam they see in you, the sparkle. And so negative people try to kill that because it reminds them of their own shame if they're not sparkling. And so this is a really interesting thing. You got to get close to this archetypal energy in you of the great other, but not identify with it. Like two airplanes fueling while they're in the air, you got to get close enough that the nozzle can come in and feed you with some kind of fuel, but not so much that it crashes into your windshield and causes you to fall. That's a description for disaster, you see. And there's ancient stories about trying to access this solar power, this heat, the kundalini that you have inside yourself when it's released. Like Icarus, where he made the wings for his son, but his son flew too close to the sun and it melted his wings. Or when the solar deity said to his son on his birthday, you can have anything you want. And the son wanted to drive Phaeton, the sun's chariot, across the sky. But because he promised, he had to go back, he had to keep his word, and the sun couldn't handle horses and he crashed into the ocean. Same thing, you get close to the solar power and you don't know how to handle it properly, you don't know how to contain it properly, you don't have the right insulation, you could say. Now, a lot of people don't want to recognize how hot they are, how charged they are with the solar fire, so they act kind of dead, they act kind of cold. They bind it, they douse it, they put asbestos around them so they don't have to feel the fire of this, or they contract it, and with work or food or sex or drugs, that's a way of avoiding the responsibility. But if you were young, or when you were young, if you had undivided attention, and everybody has the right to have undivided attention when you're small, then it's okay to be the center of attention. But then it has to find a way to express itself appropriately so people don't think you're an asshole. So have you found empathy with your own greatness, with your own beauty? Or when you look back, did you get blessed off the high chair? Because it's okay to have that when you're 2, but not so much when you're 12 or 22. You can't get kicked off the high chair. You can't get shamed off the high chair. You can't get beaten off the high chair. You can't just jump off the high chair. You have to be blessed off the high chair. Otherwise, things don't go as well when you get older. And if you don't have enough of this pride, people act out because they don't have pride. If they had the right kind of pride and self-esteem, they would feel they're a good human being and they have something to share, but they would also recognize the beauty in other human beings. And so one of the things that he suggests to remind yourself that I have this wonderful, almost godlike quality, but I have to keep it on a leash. And the way to realize we have an essence of the great self within us, but not to incorrectly over-identify yourself with this, is number one, get into your body, because your body is always reminding you that you're limited and you're mortal. And at the same time, get into your sexuality. It's another way of grounding you and making you aware of your humanity. And that's a way of learning how not to incorrectly dominate other people. So I hope you find your way to your grandiosity. And if you don't know how magnificent you are, contact me. Spend a couple of minutes with me, and I'll show you how wonderful you really are. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon, probably tomorrow.